Hello there, Pastafarians, it's me, Schizophrenic H. I'm coming into you live from Safe Word Studios. All the pornography has been finished for the day. All of the actresses are in the showers. But I thought I'd get a jump on the streaming today. We've got a lot to talk about. Some stuff left over from the weekend. We were talking about the Catholics. Oh my gosh, so much to talk about. I've got my cherry cola here, and I'm smoking some sort of lemon OG from Livewell, 20.4% THC. So I'm still getting things set up, and then we'll talk about it. Joe's going to be here in a minute, and talk to you in a minute.
In an age of darkness, light appears, and it wards away the ancient fears. Much to the anthem of the heart, to a brand new day, a brand new start.
Hello, Pastafarians. Thank you for joining me today. Today, which is the 7th day of May. Today of the 12,000th, 19th year of our language, of our cooperation. Pastafarians, I very much do appreciate your support as you come and see me day in and day and day. Today is Tuesday, episode 22nd in a row of our radio show here that we're doing until the schools get out here, and then I'll have to go back to my full-time job of taking care of my children's. Right now I'm having people sort of do that part-time for me so that I can get in here and try to pay down my debt here to the Safe Word Studios that I'm so deeply in debt to. And so yeah, I appreciate you reminding your friends to like and subscribe, because as soon as we do get to those 1,000 subscribers, YouTube will start giving us our money back. Though when they do start giving us our money back, we'll have to stop listening to these copyrighted musics, eh? We won't be able to get any advertisement money when there is some advertisement money. So, I mean, I don't care about it now because there ain't any, eh? So that's why we get to listen to good music all the time. But, you know, we'll see what happens when we go fully corporate. Anyway, I've been thinking about some things. There's some video that came out this weekend that we'll be talking about when Joe gets here about the Mormons. But until then, I'm just going to sort of waste time talking about bullshit. And here's some bullshit, is that the fucking, what's the name, Burger King's in a lot of trouble because they put out these meals that are like the anti-Happy Meals, and everyone's mad at them because they're like, you're trying to be so hip and fucking woke on Twitter, and this is just corporatism taking advantage of the depression wave that we have. And I think that is sort of responding with the response, you know. We talked a little bit earlier about a couple of days ago. We talked about this great satire where someone apologized in the name of the Mormon Church for all the racism that they were guilty of, and everyone got mad at the satirist because it made people feel bad that the Mormon Church was racist. And so the satirist got blamed for the bad feelings that the thing he was satirizing caused. And I think what we're having here is exactly the same thing. I think the whole point is this is satire on the Happy Meal. I think that's incredibly obvious to all of us, that this is satirical. And so what they're saying about the Happy Meal is exactly what people are criticizing about this. And so is that because you didn't understand the satire? And so you didn't realize you were saying exactly what they were saying? Because they're saying, since the mid-70s, McDonald's has been telling you all you need to make your children happy is what's in this box. We've done the work for you. Give us $3.99 and you're a good parent, even if, you know, and happiness is just a purchase away. I think that's the whole point here, is that no, the people who are profiting off of depression, then pretending they have a solution to depression that is so easy and they've done the work for you. That's the point, is the Happy Meal is marketing to the depressed people, and these people are satirizing it. So I'm not sure why we say to the satirist what we ought to say to that which he's satirizing. I'm not really sure. Because the point is, stop calling it a Happy Meal. Take the word happy out of it. Call it a kid's meal, like everybody else does. Because it's not about happiness, is it? That's not all I need to be happy. And so that's really cynical. You're profiteering off people who are unhappy. by pretending that that happiness is in that box. And that's been going on in McDonald's from the mid-70s. And so to get mad at Burger King for just satirizing it once is very, I find it to be short-sighted. And, you know, we can be short-sighted, it's okay. You know, we can look at this and see it as a piece on its own and say, you know, but I mean, I am salty. I would get that salty meal. I wouldn't want it to be salty, though. I wouldn't want them to over-salt it. That sounds pretty bad. I don't want a salty happy meal. A happy salty meal. Hello again, Pastafarians. We're still a little bit early for the stream today. I have here ready the thing that we're going to talk about during the next hour, which will begin here in 9 minutes. They're sort of going over like radio format to me. They're like taking all this time to teach me like Radio 101. Here's what we want you to do. They say like, back in the old days, there was a thing called radio or station identification. I don't care. None of this matters. And they're like, oh, all of our traditions are very important. So, I definitely advise skipping as many meetings as you can in your life. In your life, you will be scheduled to do a lot of meetings. Skip those. Don't go to them. They're full of lies and hatred. They will program you to be a machine. Don't be a machine, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be a replicant. Be a replican. That's mine. I sort of co-wrote that with whoever wrote. I guess it's Rodriguez, eh? I don't even recall the movie that I stole it from. A Mexican. Mexicant. Don't be a Mexicant. Are you a Mexican or a Mexicant? Right? What's his name? Jack Sparrow. What is that movie? Anyone? It's probably...
Pirate?
No. It's like... what's his nuts? Rodriguez? Directed some films with Antonio Banderas. Desperado.
Uh-huh.
Is that right?
Sounded
Despacito? Don't remember. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen these movies. But it's Captain Jack Sparrow says it. So, ladies and gentlemen, how's your day going? How's your week? I'm not allowed to really get into this anyway until 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock p.m. Which is noon. Post-meridian. Even though it is, I can do it on the meridian. So, anyway, we were talking about those... Oh, my God. We were talking about those Catholics yesterday.
Yeah.
And I do have to say... I'm very, very much... I went back and I watched the video of sort of the way that Teresa was behaving when she wasn't around me, and I do have to say, I find those Catholics to have mistreated my assistant. They very much took their ire out on someone who is just assisting me in my thing. They very much were cruel to someone who really had nothing to do with this conversation. So, that's what to expect from these Catholics, though. They're in this... And so, we can talk a little bit about Teresa. Happily, a lot of you have seen this video. It's got 100 views, and that's nice. In the first day that I posted it. You can definitely see the spike in our viewership. A lot of people are watching a lot of it on the thing there, and I'm glad because, a couple really good things happened there. One of which I had to cut out. But another is we have Teresa on camera over and over and over, just explaining her sunk cost fallacy. Just going over it again and again and again. She says to the camera later, off camera, not to me, but to the camera, and you can hear it on that microphone if you ever do listen to that. Teresa says that the point where she really was thinking about divorcing her husband, she had only 3 kids. But because her God told her to stay with her husband and work it out, and because she was strong enough to do it, and because she gave that strength to her bullshit God, she did. She fixed that marriage. She stuck around with him and had, 9 more kids? At least 6 more kids. I don't know if she's got 9 and had 3, or she's got 12 and had 3. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt and say 9. But she's still 6 kids sunk cost fallacy into this bullshit. And that's the only real evidence that she had for this. She's like, it has to be true or I'm in way too fucking deep. And as a fucking parent who is not way too deep, by the way, I was raised in one of these fucking let's outbreed them cults. And when I was a teenager, I was sure that the absolute perfect number of kids to have was 6. I was positive that my parents did it exactly perfect and I was going to do it like them. And I hadn't tempered that much by the time I got married. By the time I got married, the number I was saying was 4. And, I had 3. That's a great fucking number of kids for me to have right now. That's a super duper number.
Yep.
4, that's maybe a little bit too much. 2 might be a little bit too few. 3's a great fucking number for me to have right now. 9, 12, that's insanity. Fucking some insane fucking weird blood god used you as a fucking breeding tube for his goddamn army of theology. How disgusting that you allowed a god, a blood god that was worshipped 2,000 years ago, to decide how your uterus was utilized in this day and age. You should have been responsible for that uterus. It's your uterus. The humans that come out of that uterus are your responsibility. If you have too many of them, you fucking did that. You did that. That's your fault. And so, you know, for Teresa to be like so high and mighty and then just to have done something so fucking stupid as to have 4 times as many kids as she should have, that's really fucking dumb. And so if that's her only reason for staying in it, you're cheating. Fuck you, Teresa. You're dumb and you're cheating. Stop. You have to now stop, because you're 4 times deeper into this than you should have been. You have to be 4 times an adult now, don't you? 4 times. Stop. I can't. And so what? You just made too many people and you infected them with this bullshit virus that caused you to make too many people? And this is how you're going to win the war against the Muslims, is it? You both worship the same God. It's the same violence you're creating in your holy uterus as the devil is creating over there with those disholy, devilish people. You guys are disgusting, worshipping the same disgusting God that treats you like, literally like animals. Like a breeding project. Good, holy fuck.
Yep.
That's stupid. So yeah, Teresa, you're a fucking stupid bitch. And you were really, really rude to my assistant. I cannot believe you would take any of that shit out on my assistant. So fuck you, Teresa. That sucked. That sucked. And the point is, if you go and watch the video of the shit that I did publish, one of the first things she says to me is she's going to listen to how she feels. And then I have her on camera confessing that I'm getting her to cry. Well, listen to it, Teresa. I'm telling you truth. It's making you cry. The time for you to wake up was fucking decades ago. I'm gonna help you catch up to where you should be, you stupid, dumb bitch. And you're mean. Your God made you mean to my assistant. I understand why you would be mean to me. I was coming in there being loud and rude because I was mirroring your pedophile priest that's probably on loan from some other country where he got in trouble for something sex-related. So I was being mean to him, so you were being mean back to me, but why on earth were you being mean to my assistant? How does that make any sense? Your God made you mean. Your God also made you very stupid, and your God made you make mistakes. And the reason that your God made you make mistakes is the same reason that you will find in the book Pimp, recently explained to us very colourfully by one of our good friends, whose name I always forget until Dave Chappelle. If you want to, do we have that shit on Netflix? Let's shit on Netflix right now. Shit on Netflix! I don't really have that ready yet. But there's some shit on Netflix you should see if it's still there. Dave Chappelle, within the last couple of years, put on 2 back-to-back sort of specials. One of them is like, I don't know, the Bird special? I don't know. The names of them are very hard to recall, but go find them. They're easy to find. And at the end of one of them, he talks about the book Pimp, and I will now talk about it and still go watch it. Pause here and go watch it, and then come on back. Link is in the description. So don't forget to tell your friends to like and subscribe. What were you talking about, Joe? I've got this programming is got me. It's got me deep. Hold on, let me just lay back and shake it all out. Dave Chappelle.
It's noon.
Oh, it's noon! Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to noon. The show is starting. Noon o'clock to 2 o'clock is my streaming hours. I got in a little bit early because they wrap up the porn today. All the actresses were in the showers, probably together, because this is a den of sin. It's disgusting. It is raining here, happily. Thank Flying Spaghetti Monster that we don't have to have snow right now. The rain is I bless these rains. Down in Africa. So we were talking about Dave Chappelle. So Dave Chappelle was talking about the book Pimp. And the book Pimp was talking about... No. Yeah, it was. Talking about this lady who was a prostitute.
Oh, yep.
And this lady who was a prostitute was sort of quitting. And then her pimp sort of said, okay, but there's one last job I need you to do for me. And then you're all done. And then it was criminal, and then, like, got her involved in sort of criminal activities, and then got a couple more jobs out of her. And that's the whole point, is that sunk cost fallacy is used against you. Always. It's not used for you. No one ever takes your sunk cost fallacy and gives you good things with it. So, Nintendo's using it, right? Coca-Cola's using it. That's what they're using against you, is your sunk cost fallacy. And that's what the Catholic Church is using against Teresa. She can get out of it right now if she didn't think that the only thing keeping her family together was Jesus. And it's not, it's her. What's the only thing keeping Teresa's family together? Fucking Teresa. She wants it together, it's together. When she wants it apart, it's apart. Who decides? Teresa. Who's responsible? Teresa. Who does she say is responsible? Frodo Baggins. Fiction. Thor. Teresa, clean your fucking act up, dude. You're real. You're alive. You're here. You know that pedophile's lying to you and your kids. You know you shouldn't trust him alone with any of them. And if you don't believe me, Teresa, and you think someone's protecting your kids in there, well, I invite you to watch this nightmare bullshit.
I came to meet Michael Jensen through the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
I was contacted by Michael's mother. At church, she approached me and said that she heard that I had been looking for a babysitter for my kids.
She approached me saying that if my ex-husband and I ever wanted to get away, that Michael would be a great babysitter.
I was getting ready to put my youngest son, who was 4 at the time, on the bus. He started crying.
And he said, I don't want Michael to babysit for us again.
He says to me, Mom, he makes me suck his privates. And the world just sort of stopped. It's raining.
Helen belongs to the small group of people who say they've had their lives shattered twice. First by the sexual abuse of a child, and again by the role of their church in the abuse.
So that's actually my house right there, my old house.
So how long did you live in this neighborhood?
About 7 years. Still looks the same. The trees are just a little bit bigger.
Helen converted to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as a teenager. She says it was like getting an instant extended family.
When my oldest was born, he had special needs. The support I got from the church, it was a lifesaver. You sort of become so integrated with everybody. You have Sunday worship service, you have weekend activities, you have during the week activities for your children or for women's or Relief Society. So even if you're kind of spread out a little bit, everybody knows everybody.
That intimacy is by design. Mormon congregations are divided into wards of just a few hundred members. At the head of each ward is a bishop. Bishops aren't professional clergy. They're laymen with day jobs. But they act as a father figure, and worshipers are encouraged to seek counsel from them on everything from marriage trouble to financial help. Mormons also believe bishops have a spiritual gift known as the power of discernment. It allows them to divine when someone's telling the truth. When she learned Michael Jensen was sexually abusing their 4-year-old son, Helen says she and her husband went to Bishop Don Fischel.
His response to it was, I will talk to Michael, I will talk to his mom, I'll talk to his parents, I'll figure out what's going on.
What happened next is in dispute and played out in a civil lawsuit brought by the parents against the church. Fischel testified that he never met with Helen, only her husband, and says he was never specifically told there was a sexual assault, just that something happened between Jensen and the boy. Fischel testified that he then visited Michael Jensen, and that Jensen claimed that the boy may have walked in on him while he was watching pornography and was upset by the graphic images. Fischel said that he prayed for guidance and discerned that Jensen was being truthful.
He said to me, I did speak with Michael, and he looks at me, he looks me dead in the face, and he says, I know this didn't happen. Michael is a good kid from a good family, and I know this didn't happen.
Fischel denies that a conversation with Helen ever took place. Sex abuse is a problem in institutions across American society, from the Catholic Church to the military to Hollywood. But each of those institutions has been revealed to have its own particular culture that lets perpetrators evade accountability and pressures victims to stay silent. It took years for Helen to learn how the church wants bishops to deal with abuse allegations. That even if bishops believe the allegations could be true, their first call isn't to police.
Abuse in any form is sinful, tragic, and in total opposition to the teachings of the Savior.
This 1999 video was made to promote the church's abuse helpline, which is still very much in existence today. The church says it condemns abuse in any form and takes the matter seriously. The first thing church leaders are told to do is call a helpline.
Call the helpline to verify that the reported actions constitute abuse. Call and...
Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I was taking notes, I was going to talk about it all afterwards, and I was going to let you get through this. But it's too much, I suppose. Too much in a row. So, here we are in America, where religious freedom is expanding. But the religious freedom that we're talking about expanding is the freedom of religions to call their lawyers before they call the cops. And so, I troll these subreddits, and I don't want to just read Reddit to you as my radio show, but I do admit that that's all that's really going on in talk shows, is we're all just reading Reddit to you. And then talking about it, and how we feel about it, and that's it, right? That's religion. There's news, and then there's how you feel about it, And, that's morality, that's religion, that's being neat, right? That's what we do, talk about it, and
data collectors.
I do say that's in bad form, right? Yeah. So why on earth, when a bishop who the sort of idea of what a bishop is really, really bizarre. Because my brother is a bishop, probably at this point. I don't know. He was in a bishopric, which is like the next fucking guy. So he was the next fucking guy, but I don't know if he was a bishop. My sister definitely was Relief Society president, which is as close as a woman can get to the idea of a bishop, because they don't have enough penis. And so these people received no training. These people are my siblings, normal fucking Mormons. They receive no training and generally work more than a full-time job. Are very, very, very busy. That's why they're chosen. That's why the church chooses them, is because they got a lot of money. You know how we know? They pay us a lot of money. They're the bishop. That's how the church chooses its bishops. Are you good at capitalism? Because that's who we want running this church, because we're fucking capitalists. So...
Yeah, the richest guy in our stake, I remember them getting called as a mission president to, like, Switzerland or Germany. And I remember, 12 or 14, just being like, yeah, that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he can afford to you know, take this time off of his job and
He certainly could.
give it all to the church, and
then he did.
checked his kids out of school, and
Yeah, isn't it cool how inspired God was to find the guy who could pay the most tithing?
yeah.
Yeah. So the church, and so it's right at about that level that you're talking about, the mission president level, that they start to be reimbursed by the church.
That's interesting.
Yeah, below that, at stake president and below, nothing. You get fucking jack shit, dude. You're putting in a lot of your time for this shit, and you're getting nothing. But if you go on a mission, they pay for the house that you live on. If you're a mission president, and there are 333 when I went out, and I don't know how many there are now, of these people. Mm-hmm. And they get the house they live in. They get a sort of living stipend, eh? Food money,
Yeah.
food and entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
The college of the children that they have is paid for. The travel to and from is paid for, I think, a couple times a year for the children to come and go if they're in a certain age, and much, much more, which you can read about on the subreddit. And it gets more and more as you go up. From that point up, so about half of the 70, there's like quorums of the 70, and about half of them are remunerated to the tune of $100,000 a year or more. And the apostles are taken very, very well care of. Mm-hmm. And also publish it. So they also publish it. That gets to just has no problem getting pushed out by the church's publication on. Like you're an apostle. You just get your speeches, you write notes about them, you publish it. You're making tons of money. So they're very definitely capitalist. But the point is, the line of money. Pardon me. The line where they give you money and where they actually train you and fucking protect you, it's above bishop. Bishops are just schmucks who are fallen for it.
And the people they report to, stake presidents.
And the people they report to. All the people getting money and fucking talking to the lawyers about it, the people that are not part of the scam, because the bishops are all scammed. Yeah. And so that's one of the problems, is that person there that she was describing with the spirit of discernment, that guy's scammed. He's scammed. He thinks he does. So they're going to describe, well, they did, I think, say that, did they already say it? That when she went to the bishop and told the story, the bishop says, I know that he's telling the truth. Here's a spoiler. I wanted to get to the end so that you guys would know. Yeah, this guy done it. Mm-hmm. So, this guy done it. And the bishop thought he didn't. And the reason that the bishop thought he didn't is because the bishop was scammed. He thought he had a magical gift. And so when he felt it in his guts, he thought it was. And so the kid, who was a child molester, just had to emotionally manipulate some idiot, and then he's off the hook. And then that idiot calls the lawyers instead of the cops. And that's the system. And that's the system they have set up. And they set it up on purpose. Because they've got enough money to give to bishops so that they don't have to be like this. They could pay the bishops. Yeah. They used to, in fact. They used to pay the bishops. They started funneling it all up the pyramid when they realized how big the pyramid was getting. When they realized that they had created a multi-level marketing scheme, they embraced it. When they realized they were capitalist pyramid builders, they were like, well, I guess God wants us to be this, and so they just did it. They got a hotline that goes straight to the fucking lawyers. Yeah. The bishops talk to their lawyers first.
I was just thinking about how some of the changes, that I want to demand for when we get X'd.
Yeah.
And long time ago, you were like, windows in their office, and yeah, that's great, but Man, can you imagine all churches in America have to have cameras in every room?
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weed industry does.
Right.
And they deal with it.
Right. And they just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, fucking, you cause the most percentage of sexual abuses. This is what you guys have to do from now on.
Did you hear that Catholic say that
Yeah.
that school is 1,000 times more dangerous?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
You just pulled that out of your ass.
Yeah. It's
Go
excusing
look at the
away
numbers.
what they've done
Yeah.
and telling them to be homeschool. Distrust public schools.
Right. No.
It's a combination.
If you're a Catholic, the most dangerous moment of your life for your children is when you bring them to church.
Yeah.
I was at the most risk of being molested in the Mormon church.
Yeah.
Not in the public school I went to, not walking down the street.
Yeah.
When my parents dropped me off at the Mormon church, that wasn't when I was most at risk of being molested. And so, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And so, as a Mormon, you see this behavior of protecting predators in other religions. You see it. You're like, oh man, the Catholics, gross.
Or, oh, those JWs.
The Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, their lawsuits recently. Oh man, they keep denying to give information. Oh, gross. So
right.
You can see it.
You can go look at theremin trees and you can see it in another one. You can be like, oh, those Jehovah's Witnesses, that's disgusting. Mm-hmm. You can see it in the Scientologists. It's like, they're doing what to whom?
Yeah.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
And then, you suspect it in your own, and you're like, but I guess it's not us because I haven't seen any. And it's like, no, there's nowhere to look.
Yeah.
So, earlier, this fucking guy, my church is hiding I haven't seen it, not because it's not there, I haven't seen it because the church is hiding it from me. Did we already see this motherfucking guy right here? This guy right here, you probably don't recognize him, and congratulations. You've probably lived a happy life. But his name is Dallin Oaks. And this man is one of the 15 apostles of the Mormon church. And his background is lawyer. He's the lawyer apostle. The lawyer apostle is telling us, don't call the cops, call the lawyers. And if you can stay in a church that does that, you're a piece of shit. You've let them turn you into garbage. Because you nominally worship Jesus the fucking Christ. Who, he didn't feel good about the lawyers. So, for you to be listening to the lawyer apostle is weird. It's weird. Is there a soldier apostle? Right? Do you also listen to the Nazi apostle? Like, what the fuck? We had to have equal representation, so we have a Sadducee and a Pharisee apostle. And they get to talk. No, it's just stupid, right? Mm-hmm. It's just stupid. This is the lawyer apostle. And he's the one that says, oh shit, guys, we really need a hotline that goes from every bishop to the fucking lawyers. Oh shit, guys, we really need some revelation that covers our arse so that we can say it's a sin to be gay. Because we don't have any. So if we want to be preaching it in these churches around the world, we better be basing it on a revelation, so let's have that revelation. That's the lawyer apostle. That's the one who's killing the gays. This motherfucker, Dallin Oaks, hates gay people. And I'll give you one guess as to why. He decided it's gay people that require so much of his time and attention. It's because he wants to suck on dicks. He wants to know what they feel like on his tongue. He wants to. Inside of himself. Because that motherfucker's not a straight motherfucker. He's pretending he is. And while he pretends he is, he shames those like him. And they kill themselves. And he says, all you've got to do is hide further and further in the closet. But you're a faggot, Dallin, just like me, and you can suck my dick, and that's why you're so afraid of it, because you know you'd like it. So come over here and suck on my penis like you want to, and stop telling these kids to kill themselves, Dallin. Suck on my dick like you want to, and stop protecting the predators whom you give no healthy outlet for their homosexual urges. Give in to your homosexual urges, Dallin, and confess that this does not keep you from heaven. Because sucking on dicks isn't a sin, no matter how much the lawyer apostle tells you it is. And protecting predators by telling your untrained bishops to call your lawyers before they call the cops is immoral, and I don't care who tells you it's okay. They're wrong. You can tell that you bring the Pope. You can tell me, and I'll tell the Pope he's wrong for protecting predators. You can bring a prophet from the Mormon church, and he'll say it. And I'll say he's wrong because he's protecting predators. It's really easy to do when you're right. Because the lawyer apostle's not right. He's evil. And I oppose him. And I'm still a Mormon, and he gets to decide whether I'm excommunicated or not. And I'm not. Because he doesn't even believe in it. He knows it's not true. That's why he's covering his ass with his lawyer tricks. Because he thinks lawyer is more true than the gospel that he was handed. Because he's changing that gospel to be more lawyer. So fuck your false church, Dallin. You made it shitty. You made it murderous, and you made it impure. And so it will be easy to destroy your impure false church because you put too many lies in it. Too much hate, Dallin. And you should have just sucked a dick. When your dad told you he didn't want you ever being a faggot, you should have said, well, sorry I'm so gay, Dad. That was your responsibility, Dallin. And you fucking let yourself down, you let your whole family down, and you really should just suck a dick. It'll be fine. You'll like it. Anyway, this lady who's doing this report right here is savage. We'll talk about her in a minute, I do hope.
Constitute abuse. Call and find out if the law requires it to be.
Which is still very much in existence today. The church says it condemns abuse in any form and takes the matter seriously. The first thing church leaders are told to do is call a helpline.
Call the helpline to verify that the reported actions constitute abuse. Call and find out if the law requires it to be reported to civil authorities.
After the first wave of Catholic Church abuse scandals, lots of religious organizations opened hotlines. What makes the Latter-day Saints one unique is that it's intended to be used by bishops, not congregants. And court filings show that while calls are answered by an agency known as LDS Family Services, which is staffed by counselors, employees transfer all calls to the church's law firm, Curtin McConkie, based in Salt Lake City.
What's your boat's name?
Silvana.
Okay.
It's a village.
So let's talk about her. I forget her name, but she's a genius. She's all slouchy. She's got her big nerd glasses on. Uh-huh. Don't worry about me. I'm no threat. Yeah, right. She's savage. She's very good. She also did one on... She did that Charleston one, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's the fucking reason we could see anything in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's very good. And I appreciate the work that she's done on this, because she's going to reference... a thing. She's going to tell us some news. And it's very cool.
In southern Tuscany.
Tim Kosnoff has gone up against Kurt McConkie in more than 100 cases.
Do you want me to kick off my shoes?
No, not this time.
Kosnoff is one of the lawyers Helen and 5 other Martinsburg families hired to sue the church for civil damages. When we met him, he was getting ready to retire after a decades-long career suing institutions over sex abuse, including the Boy Scouts and the Catholic Church.
I once joked to a friend that I was going to rename the law firm Pedophiles Are Us, because that's what we deal with. I've handled 150 of these claims against the Mormon Church. It's very difficult to find law firms that will take on the Mormon Church.
One of the reasons is the helpline.
Instead of calling 911, they're specifically instructed not to do that, but instead to call this 1-800 helpline number, which incidentally rings into the offices of the church's lawyers. It's a helpline for the lawyers, not for the children or anybody else. It gives them an opportunity to get involved quickly, send lawyers out there, talk to victims, silence them if they can.
So do you think the LDS Church is able to intimidate people into not suing it because it has such a deep well of resources?
Absolutely. The church could drop $35, $40, $50 million in defense costs on their attorneys and advanced costs. That's nothing to them. What is $50 million to a church that takes in $10 billion in tithing and has stockpiled all of this wealth? The pattern in the Mormon Church is to keep this secret, deal with it internally as a matter of sin, not as a issue of public safety, but as a moral failing to be dealt with through repentance and prayer.
A purported internal document from 2012, which was given to the site Mormon Leaks, offers a glimpse of how Kurt McConkie works. It's a list of abuse allegations from around the world that describes potential legal claims against the church, and in some cases, how much money to offer the victim. Kurt McConkie and the Church of Latter-day Saints denied interview requests for this story.
This spreadsheet here is the thing that I would like to talk about. She is revealing to us the connection between the hotline that all bishops can confirm they are told to use, and we just saw the video there, and this spreadsheet that was released to WikiLeaks, which WikiLeaks is a group of Redditors who inspired by or Mormon Leaks, not WikiLeaks, Mormon Leaks, group of Redditors inspired by WikiLeaks are like, well, let's just do unforced shit here. And this was one of the things that were released, and I saw them, and I was like, this is very interesting. And this reporter here is connecting them, and I'm sure that the connection was probably made on Reddit, you know, but to declare this story out loud, to say, once upon a time, the lawyer apostle made this hotline for the untrained bishops to call before they thought to themselves, is this abuse? I better call the lawyers and decide. He made that. And then this spreadsheet was created, and it collects those calls and holds on to them for a couple weeks until they're resolved. And it you can go read the spreadsheet, and you know, more and more of it will be released, because only a couple weeks worth of it is what we have right now, and this thing has been active for 2 decades. And so the snapshot we had of it had 50? I don't know. Many.
Yeah.
So you can think of the thousands and thousands of cases on here that never, ever went to the police. And you can think about how many of them should have. Because there's one here, the story that we're hearing. This one should have gone to the police before it got on this spreadsheet. Shouldn't have been on the spreadsheet ever. Should have just gone to the police. The people in charge of truth and revelation should have given the bishops the authority to say, if anyone says anything about, like, touching of privates, do call the cops. And then, you know, because that's criminal. And I'm sure if someone comes in and says, hey, someone's killed someone, you're like, oh, fuck, well, I definitely don't need to talk to my lawyers. I've got to talk to the people in charge of, like, murder. Well, those are the same people in charge of rape. They really are. And if you think they're not, your religion's lied to you. Ian Wood is here. Hello, Ian Wood. Hey, guys, back for more. Sorry about that. Sorry you're so addicted. That's unfortunate. A lot of times we get addicted to placebo. It's hard to figure it out. I myself am addicted to religion. That's why I'm here again. I'm back for more as well. I, in fact, started early today because I don't think I can get everything done today. Right now, we're watching a video made for us by Vice News. I forget the name of the reporter who put this together, but she is a quite savage young lady.
Genius.
Yes, she's doing quite well. We're going over the hotline for bishops, Mormon bishops, that gets in the way of Mormon bishops calling the local authorities about criminal activities amongst their parishioners. About how Dallin Oaks, the lawyer apostle, is telling bishops that they're not smart enough to make that decision by themselves. And before they call the cops about allegations of rape or abuse, that they should call the church's lawyers in Salt Lake. And you might be wondering, who on earth would be a lawyer in a place, Curtin McConkie, whose primary and practically only client is the Mormon Church? And the answer is, of course, graduates of the BYU Law School, right? Like, where else would you want to go? If you were in the BYU Law School, which law firm would you want to take you? Curtin McConkie, the one that helps the church out? I think so, right? That's A+, right? Yeah. A university trolls the whole world for A+ students and funnels them right there into Curtin McConkie, sitting right next to the fucking, practically next to the temple, right?
Yep, hiding.
Right.
Hiding their members.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's that machine, that genius machine that said, you know what, if we just tell our bishops not to call the cops, then we don't have to report any of this. We can just take care of it with a system that doesn't work. And you can see that the system doesn't work because when the bishop thought to himself, is this man who is accused of putting other very young children's mouths on his penis, is he guilty of putting young children's mouths on his penis? Then he felt inside his heart, oh no, he's not. He's just misunderstood. And he was wrong. He's fucking wrong.
Yep. And after he made that wrong decision, that guy went on to abuse more.
Yes, let's hear the end of this story. Ian Wood said, I love the 53-minute video, pure genius. Oh, that is very kind, Ian. I think that, yeah, thank you, that is very kind. I appreciate it. I am embarrassed about a couple of the moves that I made, and I am worried that perhaps I was a bit too loud, but I'm proud of it as far as like a work of stupid bullshit street theater. Here's some bullshit religion street theater, and this is where the conversation needs to be, is that like, Jesus fucking Christ, Catholic, what are you saying in the street? Fuck off. There is a lot of sort of behind-the-scenes stuff that we can go over, because Teresa was very not kind to my assistant who is on the camera. She was taking her aggression, her uncomfort with me out on my assistant. I found that to be very duplicitous and cruel. We might be going over that earlier. Or later. It's hard to know. It's hard to know how time flows anymore. I think all my shit is all dicked up. Look at this. Alright. Let's watch a little more of this. Let's watch a little more of this.
In a written statement, an outside spokesman for the firm said it adheres to standards that are consistent with the practices of law firms and always advises compliance with relevant laws. The church sent an email saying it took appropriate action when it learned of the abuse by Michael Jensen. In regards to abuse cases, the church says it takes steps to encourage reporting and, where available, provides counselors to help victims. Bishop Fischel and the Jensen family did not return our calls. What no one told the Martinsburg ward members was that Michael Jensen already had 2 prior felony charges for sexual assault in Utah before his family moved there. Jensen was on a Mormon mission in Arizona in 2012 when Spring discovered what he'd done to her sons.
I broke down. Nothing really prepares you for that.
And so I just completely broke down. And I left the room and just went into the bathroom and just cried.
Spring says when her bishop didn't answer, her next call was to the West Virginia State Police.
I tried to get in touch with the bishop, but I thank God because he wasn't available. And so the state police, when you look at it from a different viewpoint of it not being a sin and it being a crime, then it needed to be, I needed to put it into their hands.
State.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's hard to not empathize with I agree with her when she thanks God. And I challenge you to disagree. When she thanks God that she was not able to get in touch with her bishop.
But I thank God because he wasn't available. And so the state police, when you look at it from a different viewpoint of it not being a sin and it being a crime, then it needed to be, I needed to put it into their hands.
State troopers started an investigation, and church officials brought Jensen back from his mission to participate. But they didn't tell anyone in Martinsburg why he'd been called back. And several families allowed Jensen to stay at their homes in the months prior to his arrest in mid-2013.
I found out that Michael abused other children during the criminal trial process. During that time, other parents started to come forward and started to tell their story to the state prosecutor. And actually, the person representing Michael's defense attorney, was a member of the high priesthood. And he was defending Michael. I felt betrayed. I felt betrayed that they would rally around this individual, Michael Jensen, who is a serial pedophile. They rallied around him. And there was no protection and no support for my children or for any of the other children or for the families.
Jensen was convicted of sexually abusing Spring's children and is currently serving a sentence of 35 to 75 years in state prison. The judge called him a violent sexual predator. Spring, Helen, and 4 more Martinsburg families settled a suit with the Mormon Church last year. The church denied any wrongdoing. Helen and Spring had to sign non-disclosure agreements. And as usual in these cases, the settlement amount is confidential.
You guys almost ready?
Helen lost her job, her marriage, and her religion. She no longer considers herself a Mormon.
When you have something like that happen and you have a tragedy, no one person deals with it the same. There was so much pain associated with it, and there was so much just heartache with it that I think it wasn't something that I could be a part of anymore. I couldn't be a part of the church anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore.
What do you hope happens with the LDS Church?
I really would like to see some policy change from them. The helpline they have set up now it's not set up to help the victims. It's set up to help the church.
You good?
You know, the LDS Church, they have this primary saying that's CTR, choose the right. Follow that concept. Choose the right thing. What was the right thing to do here?
I cannot even right now, ladies and gentlemen. Just so much. Just, you know, give me a moment. Alright, so let's talk about how shitty that is. Distracted ourselves with a musical emotional release. No, let's instead of that, let's distract ourselves even further. Our friend Ian Wood is in the audience. Thank you again for joining us for your repeat viewing. It is embarrassing how much I enjoy being someone's sort of like guilty pleasure, perhaps. Strange enjoyment. Isn't that fun? Ian Wood also said to us 22 hours ago in our comment section, just watch your latest video, Mitch. All hail to the Mitch. I appreciate that. That's very kind. Wow, your best so far. I have a few close runners-up, though. I would like to hear a list of your close runners-up. I myself don't have a very good sort of view of my body of work, as I view each of them as grades, you know? I just look at the grades. So, it's very hard for me to see them clearly, and I would I'd love to see your list of close runners-up. That would be hilarious. Why don't you do what L. Ron Hubbard did and invent your own religion? Well, I do confess I've tried. You could pay off some serious debt. Oh, I'm working on it. And maybe some of mine. I promise that that's how pyramids work. That yes, when I start splashing money down the pyramid, you can expect a lot of it there, Ian Wood, who has been in the comment section for a very long time during our foray here into real cultism. Just lie and you become rich, right? Just lie back and you'll be very, very rich, I assume is what you mean. Politicians and religious people have been doing it for years. I know, I want to be a politician and a religious people and get it both ways. I'd love that. So I'm trying to start my own, like, 700 club or whatever here. Another fantastic video, very kind, can't wait for more. Well, it will be a while now. I sort of strained my relationship with my producer to achieve that. But I'm very proud of that work. But yeah, that was sort of what I've got until I think the next. So we're doing this right until the school's out here, which is I don't know a couple more weeks. And then after that, I suppose we're looking into like a summer tour. But I don't think I'm going to be able to get down into town for anything until then. I've used a lot of my resources. I've used all of my May resources, and it's only the 7th, is what I'm saying. So I got to do a lot of fucking grunt work here in the porn studio, even though I keep getting further and further into debt. This is your calling. Man, I agree, even though I do regret it. Regret that is true. I agree that is true. I fucking enjoy it out there. Like, it's ridiculous. There's this part in the place that I cut where I was sitting down and talking to Teresa's daughter, and I was able to sort of tell her my story about how I considered myself, like, I checked to see if I was insane before I checked to see if my mother was. And while I was sitting right next to her fucking insane mother, so yeah, and then like all of the people got up and danced like you can see them do later around in a circle, and we were in the middle of the circle, and so it was very much like it was very fun and hilarious, and it was kind of like that's sort of how we do footsies too, which is hilarious. Is right now, let's triple digress because I really don't want to fucking talk about fucking how sad it is to realize that I am part of a church that is exactly as criminal as all these other fucking churches that I so despised while I was part of it. You know, so stupidly guilty of exactly that which I hated, like all Mormons. Because you can get them to fucking call the fucking Catholics pedophiles. You can get them to do it pretty easy. And then they're like, cool, your church does it. And they're like, well, I do say. Oh, I don't know why you would be so uncivil. So let's digress again and talk about that other thing. Did I already do it?
No.
What was it?
Footsies.
Footsies.
I did it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it because I really do want to talk about footsies. So in the High School for Geniuses, there was a game that we had played since the grade school. Some of us had gone to that grade school as well, and in that grade school there was a game that we played in the playgrounds, right? Like you probably played Foursquare, you know, with a ball. Well, we played this game that came to us from the Shaolin monks of yesteryear. Very old and long beloved game. Where and there's 5 rules. They're in the book. If you have a copy of the book, of my book of scripture, which I can't find actually. I don't know where it is. I feel so naked. I thought they were down in the car and they weren't. Oh man. I have to check for that next. I'm gonna put a song on right now and look for it. No, I'm not. I'm going to think about it later. I'm going to talk instead about footsies. I can recall the rules of footsies out of my mind. The first rule of footsies is one move per turn, right? No, the first rule of footsies is call yourself out. That's the first rule of footsies. Is you call yourself out. And you can take a lot of these rules and apply them to life in a lot of various ways. But right now, I just want to tell you the rules of footsies. Call yourself out. 1 move per turn. Only move on your turn. 1 move per turn. Fakies are a thing. If you're being attacked, you can move. That's it, right? Those are the rules of footsies. And what they're describing is new style. It was sort of simplified to be taught on the streets, and so that's the new style of footsies. And I, myself, you might be surprised to hear this, I'm the 3-time and reigning world champion of footsies. So hopefully, if we meet our fundage goals for this tour that we're doing this summer, the summer tour, which is let's get excommunicated from the Mormon Church, because I really do want the signature of the fucking lawyer apostle saying I'm not allowed in the Church of Jesus Christ anymore because I disapprove of his fucking lawyer hotline for his untrained fucking not responsible fucking shield. And like, no dude, you have the resources to do better than this. You choose to do poorly. This is all your responsibility. I would do better with these resources. I'm a better prophet than you. Your sheeple should pay me instead of you. And that's of course true. I knew before his church did that the policy of asking children of 8 years of age to tell us that their happily married gay parents are hellbound has got to go. God doesn't like it. And I knew that way before he did, and I've got proof of it. And that means that I can hear God before he does. And if I can hear God before he does, why are you listening to him? I can tell you what he's going to be saying in 3.5 years. Oh shit, I'm sorry I was so mean to the gays. Oh shit, that fucking rise in suicide, that's totally my fault. And I'm going to undo that as much as it's possible. Gay people are cool people. Fucking gay people go to heaven. There's no such thing as sexual immorality. There is sexually transmitted disease, and there is pregnancy, and there are emotion involved, and there is no thing else. It is not a sin, it is not immoral, it is your option, it is a fucking thing you can do. And that motherfucker can do that today, that fucker should have done it yesterday. Fucking Flying Spaghettimos have been saying it the whole time. Sexual shame is fucking hateful. No man, we still came back to him. I was trying to regress away from him to footsies. Still fucking came back to this piece of shit.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyway, this summer, hopefully we can have a 4th, hopefully I can win a 4th crown. We'll go around to the people who went to the high school for geniuses, and which will have a footsies tournament as we attempt to get excommunicated by the Mormon Church for calling them false prophets. For of course he's a false prophet. If I knew something before he did. Jesus, I look to these prophets to know things before I do. It's the opposite. I can teach this motherfucker how to be moral. So he needs to be in my church, not the other way around. And he owes me lots of money, because he should pay me a tithing for all of the money that his church has given him. He owes me the tithing if he believes in tithing. He owes it to me. I'm the high priest. Give me the tithing. He's not the high priest. He's the pedophile protector. You're not allowed to be the high priest when you're protecting pedophiles. You're out.
Yep.
You owe me that money. Lots and lots and lots and lots of money. Because my prophecies are better than yours. Dallin Oaks. And if you disagree, let's debate. Anywhere, any when. Any fucking where, Dallin. Isn't that the game you're playing? Any fucking when? Your church is false, Dallin. You're not a prophet. My church is true, Dallin. I am. Let's debate. I fucking dare you. I fucking dare you to read my book. I dare you, liars. And why won't they? I've been told that I need to hire a writer. I've been told that I need to get my shit together in these meetings. They're like, blah, 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 don't you want to, blah, blah, blah. And they're like dangling these things in front of me as if they're like, they can see the future. Yeah, that's definitely what's going to happen. Anyway, they're like, here's what you do. Get a writer to write it. Go ahead and write it. Get a writer. Like, okay, how much is that? Like $100? So, if you guys know how to write me a letter that I can send to, like, the Ark Encounter. Right? To be like, it's our turn to debate. And,
You'll get tickets sold.
yeah, remind them that their most viewed fucking video is their debate with Bill Nye. And that I'm trying to get excommunicated from the Mormon church. Jesus, come on. Why won't they accept my invitation to debate? Dallin, why? Tell me why. Have your people tell me. The people, your lawyers that you hide behind. The lawyers that you worship. The lawyers that speak for your God. Have them tell me why. You're too afraid to defend your immoral God.
Yep.
Good God.
Good golly.
Molly. Good golly, Miss Molly. And thank you, Ian Wood, for your comments, both here and in the thing. I'm looking at them again. Let's get distracted by Tom Mihal. I'd love to see you debate street preacher Jesse Morell or Angela Cummings now. That would be entertaining. Lol. It totally would be entertaining. And I do tell you that I have attempted to go into their YouTube channels and say, you know what would be a good idea next time you come to Denver? Is if you were to spend some time with me.
Yeah.
I think I've invited both of the people that he has suggested to do exactly that.
Yep.
And this goes exactly back to that thing that I was saying. He's like, why, I guess I do need a letter. A letter that Jesse Morell will read and say, oh, I'm doing this.
Yep. It looks all fancy.
Oh, we're looking at the Catholic one. It doesn't even look fancy over there. Maybe I just have to print it out on color paper, glossy paper. Maybe the whole point is it doesn't matter what it says. You can say blah, blah, blah. And it'll be like, oh yes, when is he coming to town? Oh, Denver? Sure, I'll be there. Jesse Morell, Angela Cummings. I would fucking love to talk to Angela Cummings. I'd like to get naked with Angela Cummings, to be honest. I think poor Angela Cummings is way, way, way sexual. And her fucking church has tried to desexualize her. I think she's a fucking horny son of a bitch. I think she likes to get naked and sweaty. I'd like to teach her a thing or two. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'd love to talk to Angela Cummings. Here's a comment here by Oddman Willikers 9 hours ago, and so here's me trying not to be an arsehole. Let's see if I can actually pull it off. If I can disagree with people without being a dick. Old Man Willikers 9 hours ago. I agree with your opinion on Christianity, but okay, cool, right? Like that's part of the fake thing, right? I'd be like, we're coming from the same place, but you're wrong. He says, no. But I can't help but feel that if you dialed it back a bit and were less in people's faces, you might make more of an impact. Cool. We disagree about that. And we wouldn't really disagree unless you make an argument, and you did. You made an argument. And you're wrong about that argument. And so if you're saying it to be like you're rude, I agree. I do agree. And if you're saying it to be like, dude, I wish the conversation didn't have to go here, I also agree. And if you're saying it to say, I'm not going to go as far as you, cool, don't. Really don't. It's stupid out here. Don't be as crazy as me. But if you're saying it to help me believe that if I dial it down a bit and I'm less in people's faces, that I will make more of an impact, you're wrong. Like, there's nothing I can say to that Catholic priest that'll get him out of that. There is no helping him. He's a bad guy. He's evil. He's promoting the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is fucking evil bullshit. It's live-action role-playing that's been handed down to us with secret handshakes and rings and symbols. And they're a fucking country.
Yeah.
They hide pedophiles because they're a country. And they do whatever they want because their God says it's right. They're evil. Like, what is more evil than the Catholic Church? Do you think that we can talk to Francesco? Do you think that he's open to these ideas? I don't. I tried to ask him if he was. I said, if it is evil, are you going to give it up? He said that's not even a question in my vocabulary. I'd love to debate him about that. If it's evil, are you going to give it up? Fucking get that debate to happen. I'll be there. You fucking anytime, any place. I'll hitchhike to it. If you can get him to fucking commit to debating me for 2 hours with a microphone in public that what he's doing is evil, I am so there, I will make him cry. On camera, I'll make him cry and say sorry. I'll do it. But he won't change. He'll go back and double down. Even if I dialed it back. No matter how you make the message sound, no matter how much work you put in to making it acceptable, they refuse the idea. It's not the tone that I'm saying it in. It's the idea. There is no such thing as a tone that they will listen to. There is no such thing as making an impact. You can't. Don't earn it. You're following their trap if you're trying to do that. Because they just say, ooh, if you're just a little bit more polite, maybe I'd listen to you. They're wasting your time. They're not ever going to listen to you. They don't care that it's true. I told my mom, I said, Mom, maybe this religion isn't true. And she's like, I know, shut up. And then she never spoke to me again. She never really spoke to me again. The last time I saw my mom here and now, in the present, she said, I know it's not true, I've known for a while. Why are you saying this out loud? The next time I saw her, she was wearing a mask. And I've never seen her without that mask on again. So, no, you can't. I won't dial it back a bit until you get the guarantees that I can have that conversation. If you want to give me that guarantee, I'll take it. Write it down on a piece of paper. Until you find that guarantee, I'm not going to assume it exists just because you think it's there. But I think that the point of your comment is, I can't help but feel that. And you're correct. We feel that way. We feel. Like if we could only just talk to them, they'll see what we're talking about. That's happened before in their lives. They have a defense against that. You're wrong. I know you can't help but feel that way. That's the point. You can't help but feel placebo. You can't help but feel sunk cost fallacy. You can't help it. You can know it's there. You cannot help but feel gravity. You cannot help it. You can know all about it. You can know what it's doing. You can know it's there. You'll still feel it. And it will still be untrue. It's untrue that if you just say it a little bit nicer, they'll listen. It's untrue. They're wasting your time. You're playing their game. They're winning. While you're doing that, they're putting God on your money. While you're doing that, they're voting for war.
Yeah.
While you're figuring out what's wrong with the way you're sending the message, nothing. It's something wrong with your enemy. They're trying not to hear you. And so any flaw in your communication is enough, and your communication will always, always, always be flawed. It's not an option in this conversation to have non-flawed communication. They are asking for it in bad faith. I know this. I'm sorry you think it's not true. Our opponents don't play fair. Don't play fair back. This is the only way. Ian Wood says, I think they would be too scared. Oh, and you're allowed to be. You don't have to be like me. I'm not saying come out and do it. I'm not saying you guys should be like me. I think I'm not. I'm saying I'm like me. But and every time you're like, dude, if you just take it easy, someone else, your message will be better received. Dude, I've tried it all. Do you think that Anthony Magnabosco is better received than me? Do you think so? Because he's rejected. Go watch him be rejected. Do you think that he does a lot of good work too? By the way, he's following the algorithm. So minus that, is he more successful than me at converting people? I don't know. Let me tell you something that I read here. A man who was at that thing says, I really appreciate you and what you do. My wife and I and my son, and then he identifies who they are in the video, caught the tail end of this dialogue. He's saying, in real life. Really glad I got to experience and witness this. Thanks for your information. I said, thank you very much for your patience on Sunday. I'm sorry I didn't speak with you. I get so embarrassed and I have to run off. I do. I'm in a very focused state and I'm staring this fucker down. And then he leaves and I'm like, fucking now we run off. I'm very glad you enjoyed my work, I say. I post these encounters to YouTube, but I hope that they work well live. I really do. Like, I've wanted to be a busker since I was a teenager. It was romantic, to run away with a girlfriend and buy a VW van and run out of gas somewhere and play the guitar until you have enough money to put more gas in. That's a very romantic idea from a very young Mitchell. And so to be on the street with my art is privilege. It's very fun. I got to do it as a Mormon. The Mormon religious thing is street art. Sales is often street art. A lot of these things started as street sort of interactions, and I find them to be enjoyable and exhilarating from a sort of introvert-extrovert point of view. And so I'm very excited when it is interesting, even if it's not being filmed. You know, I went. I left my microphone at home this last Friday when I went down to the thing, and so I don't have any footage of it. And so I got a lot of stuff that just doesn't go on the internet. I didn't record it in anyway, and that was sort of freeing. Having just a really live show. So it's nice that it's appreciated for being live, right? And because good, that would be sad if it's like, it doesn't play well live, sorry. That's not fun.
Right.
And so, yeah. I ask him, is it... Let me see, what do I ask him? Please do tell me of your experience with religion. Is there some part of my message, as you heard it on Sunday, that I should further explore in my encounters with the local Catholics? And our friend says, me personally, I grew up Catholic and have been ostracized since my entire youth and the majority of my adult life for questioning the stupidity and contradictions of the Old and New Testament. I've come to find my own path outside of organized religion over the past 3 or 4 years. I've in turn become a very spiritual entity. I feel there is a creator of some sorts, but nothing I can attempt to fathom or comprehend, so I believe us as humans, created by the grand architects, are in theory gods in our own right. I'd love to further dialogue with you, if you are willing. I resonated so much with what you're about and the knowledge you spread. Oh yeah, what very fucking kind words, right?
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Set up a video.
Yeah, so that's fun. That's why I do it, right? It is my calling, unfortunately, and it's effective, right? And so because Corey knows what the fuck I'm talking about, and so I don't have to convince everyone. I just have to fucking be heard by Corey. Isn't that correct? Mm-hmm. And so, and Corey and I don't agree about everything religious. Religion is like a fingerprint. Your Venn diagram of religious selection out of all of these ideas that you can care about is different from everybody else's. They have a different selection of shit they give a shit about. Because every Christian selects which part of the Bible they listen to, and every other Christian selects a different selection. Mm-hmm. Like, you can see it in Christians, right? Mm-hmm. And some of them are like, no, there is no such thing as free will because God saw it from the beginning. And of course, they can choose scriptures to support that. You get to make it up. Now, all of religion's like that. All of religion is like that. Every religion person gets to do that. And so let it be like that. Realize it is that and be like, oh, well, I'm good at that. Our friend Corey here brings up a very interesting idea, I think, reminds me of a very interesting idea, is that we really lost communication when we tried to be monotheists. We really lost this differentiating idea with what the fuck do you mean by God? And it really upset one of the people out there when I had to take a long time to answer his question of like, did God create the earth? And it's like, I mean, not God like you mean God, right? God flying spaghetti monster. Did God create the earth? No, flying spaghetti monster created the earth. Because when you mean God, you mean Jesus. And did Jesus create the earth? No. Jesus happened way later. So he didn't do it. And so when I say flying spaghetti monster, I mean the creator. Right? I mean whatever caused the Big Bang. And that's generally enough for people to be, oh, okay. And think that they know they've got me. Right? And you can be agnostic about if the Big Bang was created. You can be agnostic about that. You can be like, we can't see it. And it's like, okay, so in theory, could it be the flying spaghetti monster? It's like, yes. And it's like, okay, let's call it flying spaghetti monster until we have a better fucking understanding of it, because this doesn't lead the witness in any way, except for obviously satirical ways. Right? And then they're like, okay, but by God, you mean Jesus. And it's like, so, and then he says here, so then he does. So with God, if we mean the creator, that's a thing we mean. But then our friend Corey, who we agree with a lot, and I didn't mean to be mean to the last person I spoke about, because we agree a lot. But he's saying, tone it down and it'll work better. And it's like, what do you mean by work better? Do you really think that there is a way that this works? Do you really think that they will listen to us? It's not our fault we're not being heard, it's theirs. But I'm trying to say that to a friend, right? We agree on almost everything, except that there is some reason to tone it down. There's not. It's here to entertain myself. It's here to tell Corey that these people really are crazy. Don't think that you're stupid for calling them crazy. They are crazy. You know, and if they want to hear me, good. If Teresa wants to hear me, good. She told me she did, but she was lying. Listen to how you felt. I made you cry, Teresa. You confessed on the camera. Listen to the feelings. Slavery is immoral, always. It should not have been allowed. Okay, so then the second part of this thought that I have yet to complete is that our friend here, Corey, says, I feel there is a creator of some sorts, but nothing I can attempt to fathom or comprehend, so I believe us as humans created by the grand architect are in theory gods in our own right. And so this idea here, gods, I think by what he means by that is not creators, because I obviously didn't create myself. I think that's obvious. I might be wrong. I think I didn't create myself. So he's not talking about creator, but it's in that same word as creator. And then he talks about gods in our own right. And what he means here is more akin to that which we worship. And so when we monotheized, the creator was chaos, you know. You didn't have to worship chaos. And so this idea that because the Christians jump really quickly from he created you, you should worship him, and it's like, I'm not sure that follows, right? You gotta build that bridge too, because what if the creator was chaos? What if I was created by evil? Should I worship evil? Right? Like the shit doesn't follow, and they think you'll just jump along with them, and you won't. You know, they have to build each fucking plank, and they never will get there because it's so distant from, yeah, maybe something caused the Big Bang to, yeah, that's Jesus. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not that. And why do you worship Jesus if he didn't do the Big Bang? You know, like, you do worship Jesus. And so the idea of God as what we worship, I think that's a really good thing to be talking about. It's a really good subject. God defined as what we worship, but we can't call it flying spaghetti monster because flying spaghetti monster doesn't need to be worshipped. And so it's this whole other idea. They need to start defining it, and that only happens after we realize that we don't worship God, right? And so when we're playing by the atheist game, when we're saying from the atheist perspective, blah blah blah, and they're like, cool, you just worship yourself. There's no way out of that move. You're like, no, I just don't worship anything. You know, I've said it to many people. I'm like, no, only Christians can worship. Or you can see me say it politely, and you can see it be equally rejected. And I'm less ignored when I yell. I can prove it. The people around are watching. You know? And so it's a question of like, you'll be less ignored if you tone it down. I just don't agree. The more I tone it up, I've got 100 views on this thing. We had more minutes viewed yesterday than there are minutes in the day. And we've only achieved that, 5-6 times. So the point is, no, me going out there and yelling is effective. Why do you keep saying it's not? It's definitely effective. I film it, I put it on YouTube, people watch. Do you think that...
It's those people that are trying to people please. The ones that don't want a bad name for the rest of us atheists.
Do you think that there's anything that I can do to effectively convince Teresa that she's wrong? No. I did it very kind to Teresa. I did it with more kindness that she deserved. She took her frustrations out on my assistant, and I still attempted to show her kindness at the end. When she identified God as the glorious being which saved a marriage, I re-identified that as her. I said, no, that's your glory. That was kind of me. She didn't deserve that after she treated my assistant in the way that she did. And convince her that I'm kind. She says that I can't have such thing as happiness in my life. Obviously, she scoffs at the idea. She recoils. But I tell you that she had 12 kids, and she confesses to everyone, to strangers in the street, that she only wanted 3. You want to bet that those fucking kids heard her say that? Do you want to bet that those kids know that if her God tells her to fucking kill him, she's excited to? Because she's in way over her head, and there is no help from this false God. No one's helping her take care of these kids like they said she would. And I told her she's responsible for her marriage. She's together because she wanted to be. And I said you don't hear this on the thing, but that's the same problem my parents had. They thought they had to stay together for the kids. No. You had to get divorced for the kids. Yeah. So that we knew what healthy people did when they didn't love each other. They were like, oh, whoops. We've got to move on then. They didn't do that, right?
Yep.
They were bad parents.
Yep.
So, oh well.
Yeah.
Teresa's never going to listen to anything you say. Be as kind of her to... I invite you. I know where she's going to be for the next 3 weeks. If you think there's a better approach, do it. Do it. I'll help you. I'll film it. I won't be an arsehole at all. I'll go in normal clothes. I'll shave my beard. No one will recognize me. No one.
Yeah.
I will hide and help you do your project that you think will be more effective than the one I'm doing. More effective at what? I don't know what we're doing. I don't know. They won't listen. None of them listen. You can find some. If you go out and you knock on doors, you will find some that listen. But they'll listen to any fucking conversation. That's the reason that the fucking Mormons are knocking on doors, is to talk to those people.
The sad ones. The
right.
frustrated ones.
Yeah, the people ready to find Jesus.
Someone that needs a motivator to change what they're doing.
And so I'm not trying to make enemies of my friends here. Like, that's the thing that sucks, is I'm trying to talk to Corey here like an ally of what I'm doing, and I just still sound like an asshole. So I think the point is, let's not assume that conversation requires us to not be assholes. Let's invite the assholes to the conversation too, because I think that's the point. Is when we disinvite, I think the only way. I think that you will beat Trump if you're willing to get on the stage with him and call him Lying Don. If you call him Lying Don every time you refer to him, you will beat him. Okay? And I'll do that. If you can't find a candidate that's going to do that, I'll do that. Every time I'm on a stage with him, I won't call him by anything other than Lying Don. And I'll beat him with his own tactics. I'm not too proud to do it. This whole when they go low, we go high, I don't think that God told us to do that. I think that's a thing that we're trying, and it doesn't really have amazing results. I think, let's not try violence anymore. Yeah, I agree with that. When they go low, we go high. I'm not sure that that's right.
Yeah. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
So if you want someone on that stage, if you want someone on a podium next to that fucking piece of shit liar who doesn't know what truth is and worships only his own dick and his bank account, I'll do it. I want to do it. He's a fucking liar. He doesn't know what truth is. He lies about as much as he can. I don't think he can discern truth from lie anymore. And I would call him that on a stage. So, I'll be your president if you need me. If no one else is going to do it,
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll protect these streets. It's my calling. I agree.
Yeah.
Yum.
I'm just thinking about fucking Trump and yeah, the only way
You're
to
thinking
beat
about
him-
fucking Trump? Me too.
Yeah,
I think about it a
The only way
lot.
to beat him is, of course, play his fucking game.
Would you beat his ass if he paid you to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you try to get some things in there? Would you be tip your sex workers? Make sex work legal when you hit him with the thing?
Totally. When he first got sworn in,
Yeah.
I had fantasies of being getting on his list, and he comes and visits in exchange for making it decriminalized.
That's cool. He's like, I'll decriminalize it if you give me new pussy every day.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah, I'm on the list. Put me on the list.
Yeah, do it.
Let's write that story. So I don't want to plug all of the other things, the other productions of Safeword Studios. But they do sort of try to cross-pollinate their brand, these fucking brands. And so they have a website. I don't have it. Let me see. Let me check my notes here. I don't have it in front of me. But where they publish erotic fiction. So do enjoy their sort of bi-weekly erotic fiction publications. Ugh. Oh man, everyone's a prostitute. Fucking sell your soul for money, eh? Were we talking about anything interesting?
We've been avoiding interesting things.
We've been avoiding interesting things. Alright, let's talk about it. You very much hope that your church is different. You definitely see it as different.
Yeah.
Right? You say to yourself, even if it wasn't true, I'd be a Mormon. Even if it wasn't true.
Yeah.
And then you see all these other ones are like,
Numbers are so kind.
Right!
How can it not have such good people?
Yes. So there are this thought is explored. Theremin Trees explores the tragedy of some of this very well and deeply and emotionally. And I very much invite you, if you want to hear someone who knows what they're talking about talk about it, to go listen to that. If you want to, if the thing that I'm talking about is intriguing and you're like, oh, I want to know not garbage about that, I can tell you where to get the not garbage, and then I'm going to talk garbage about it, and I'm not saying I'm not, okay? So, it's your job to fucking make sure no garbage gets in your head, and this isn't the place where that's guaranteed. And no church is. When you go into a church, think to yourself, some of these things might be less than true. And to do that for all churches, including mine. Fuck, please, Jesus fucking please, do that. Oh man, I still don't even want to talk about it. So, the Mormon Church was just as bad as all the others. Always was. And I myself have been involved in the system. That fucking hotline was fucking called for me. Out there, I was on that goddamn sheet for who knows how long. Couple days, maybe a week. My name was there. Who knows what they put down as just give this to the parents and they'll shut up. It was a misunderstanding in our case. Maybe. Because I don't know. Maybe the lawyers filled my brain up with misinformation. Maybe Curtin McConkey was lying to me. Fucking a phone call that may should have gone to the fucking cops. And sure, my life might have turned out different. I was protected by this. I was moved away. I was a missionary, And we were... I'm going to tell the story now, just so you know I'm not touching kids' butts. Because that's what I was accused of, touching kids' butts. Here's how it goes. Once upon a time, I was in Lower Hutt, in Wellington area. And we had this after-school thing, and we were very maladjusted kids to be doing this after-school thing. And so, you know, these are under sort of supervised children. And we were doing a little bit of supervision daily after school, but at this daily after school thing, but we only helped out like once a week. And there were 4 of us missionaries between the ages of 19 and 22 helping out. And I did some very questionable things. There was one time where I took a jump rope and I lashed a kid to a fucking
basketball pole, right?
No, it was like indoors. It was like a stair, like the stairs, you know, the railings, but like not on the stairs, but on a landing. Lashed him to it, walked away. I don't know how he got out. I assume someone saved him. Terrible things I've done. And there was a person who they were doing that whole good touch, bad touch stuff at the local school, and they were like, "So anyone have any examples of bad touch?" And it was like, "Yeah, some bad touch at the thing." And it's like, "Oh yeah, who?" And it's like, "You know, Webb, that's me, Elder Webb." And so, you know, oh shit. And sort of that goes up the flagpole, everybody starts talking about that, people are talking about that. The fucking Curtin McConkie gets involved pretty soon after, eh? The call goes to my mission president, blah blah blah. My name gets on there. Fucking I learn about it. I go to the mission president. They, like, the assistants to the president come to my fucking apartment and say, "You're going to the mission president's house today." And I was like, "Oh, I am I?" And it turns out it's a southern one. Like, maybe my name was brought up because I lashed that kid to the thing, maybe. But the story of, like, what we're pissed about was there was another missionary who was playing jump rope and, like, was behind a girl in line, and she was next in line, and pushed her in with very low hands into the jump rope. And that is the contact they were talking about. And I didn't jump rope, so it wasn't me. I did lash kids to the fucking railing, but I didn't push kids into the jump rope by the bottoms. And so, and I'm not saying one of those is actionable and one of those is not. I really don't. I mean, like, I should have been sent home. Absolutely. It's like you lashed a kid to a thing, and you're like, "Ah, yeah, all right, bye. Yeah, it's fine." And so it's weird that it's I got busted for shit I didn't do. If it was shit I'd done, that'd be a thing. If it was shit I didn't do. And so the point, though, is I didn't ever go back to Lower Hutt. I was moved to another place with the great resources of the church by default. I was moved up to a place that I hated and loved. It was a very difficult place. Paiatua with Elder Flake, which was a nightmare. The most depressed I ever was in my whole life was with Elder Flake, and I was only disobeying one rule in the entire world, and I was the least happy I ever was. And you tell me why that is if the fucking Mormon Church is true. The one rule I was disobeying is wake up at 6:30. I was doing everything else right, and I was miserable. And why was I miserable? Because my companion and I were lying to each other because he was gay and he couldn't be gay. And so we could never connect, and we were alone together. And that's why we were depressed, because we were the most distant from any other human that we ever were. And they don't care. They don't fucking care. Since then, I've had a 19-year relationship with a fucking very sexy lady. I've never been alone. The Mormon Church makes you alone. Makes you hide. Kent Flake is a good man, would have made a good bishop. And the Mormon Church says no thank you, too gay. Cool, well tell that to the homophobes up top, the gay haters, because they're gay. They're super gay. Make them stop it. Stupid. Kent Flake would have helped the Mormon Church be a group of good people. And they told him they don't want him. Fine, I want him. You're idiots for not wanting him. He's a great, great man. I don't think I've said it yet, still. That fuck the Mormon church. They're protecting their pedophiles. They have a system that they use to protect the pedophiles. It's decades old. It definitely has covered up some cases of abuse that it should not have. There are cases that should have gone to the fucking cops.
Yeah.
Because the first time, the pedophile that we're talking about in the news source, the first time his name got brought up to the Curtin McConkie hotline, it got covered up. They covered it up. They made the wrong decision. He was a violent predator. They were wrong. They protected themselves and not their members. And if that's what it's intending to do, they did it good. And if it's not what they're intending to do, good, you're not evil. Right? You're doing evil very well. If your intent is to do evil, you're very good at it. It's efficient at making sure that embarrassing things that should be actionable are not brought to the authorities that can action them. And if that's what you're trying to do with your law degree from BYU, proudly wearing Brigham Young's name, then you're an evil person, and I will debate you wherever and whenever you find me. Because I have truth and you have none. You are morally corrupt. You are immoral. You worship a false dead god of blood. You know, at any point, a crazy member of your church can say, you know, there's always been Danites. You've just not heard of them. Because they're so secret. And I am a Danite, and I know the Danite secrets, and you can be a Danite. And any Mormon can say it. At any time.
Frightening.
Very frightening. Very frightening. What if that priest who's been live-action role-playing a 2,000-year-old game of live-action RPG, what if he was like, okay, well, you've crossed the line. Now I get to employ violence. Because he touched me 3 times, didn't he? Mm-hmm. He was fine putting his arms around me, even though I declared that as the line we oughtn't cross. Mm-hmm. He very much crosses lines he's told not to. I told him quite clearly, you're not invited to lecture me. You're not invited to preach to me. But we can have a conversation. And he was incapable of it. Absolutely incapable. I'm still getting distracted. Did I say it enough?
Yeah.
Dallin Oaks is responsible for this. Mm-hmm. I hold him personally responsible for all of the hidden crimes. It was his idea. It was his evil god that caused him to do it. He worships what I can only be described in his mythology as the devil. Hiding truth so that your god doesn't be embarrassed for his sin. I don't know of a good god that could do that in the Mormon theology. I think only the devil could do that. So in his own theology, he's a hypocrite. He worships his devil. I don't believe in the devil, as I've said many times, but I'm fine using his theology against him. Dallin Oaks worships the devil. I can prove it to any Mormon brave enough to talk to me. If you can find anyone to debate me, I'll do it. So I do have a writer friend. So I'm going to try to scrounge together $100, but here's my problem. He donated $100 to me. Like, it's just nonsense, isn't it? Like, how do I go and be like, hey, here's your $100, can I have this instead? That's weird. This whole fucking thing is weird. The whole metaphor doesn't work. You know what does work, though? Fucking, I've got $100 right here, and I'd like to have an orgasm. Can you help me with that? I'll give you these $100. That makes a lot of sense. Fucking sex for money, that makes sense. Fucking giving someone their own money back so that they can fucking help you write a letter. That doesn't make any sense. Fucking capitalism doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, Dallin Oaks, come on. Fucking stop it. Your church is evil. You're an evil man. Everyone can see it. Everyone can fucking see it. I'm trying to fucking help you out here, dude. You can be part of the good guys. You don't have to be an evil piece of shit. That's the point. You can stop at any time. Like, he's got enough to coast for the rest of his life. Even if they take away everything? Are you shitting me? The fucking ex-Mormon apostle? You can sell that for way more than you sold an apostle for. There's so few Mormons on the planet. Dude, come on. If you're just even if you're looking at it from a fucking financial point of view, you don't lose anything, dude. They are poor motherfuckers. Oh my god, can you imagine though? Here's my proposal for the Mormon church. They just have to pay taxes on their property. You know? Because they own some really nice property and they can't fucking pay that shit. They'll fucking get rid of the nice stuff real fucking quick. The reason that the fucking Notre Dame church burned down is because it was in the hands of people who fucking are inept. Get it out of the hands of the fucking Catholic Church. Yeah, it's definitely their fault. If it was in the hands of people who cared about it, it wouldn't fucking burn. If it was in the hands of French people. But it's not. These people are members of a nation. The Vatican City is a nation. And they're citizens of it. This is a live-action role-playing game. That's why they don't care about French relics. They're not French. Give them to the French. And they do. They say we do. No, you don't. You use the French for as much as you can, and then you say, but we're still going to have church in here as often as we want. Get the fuck out of them. Get the fuck out. They're fucking historical buildings, dude.
So tax their properties.
Tax them, dude. Fucking see how quickly they have to get rid of the really nice stuff. Like a fucking huge temple on Santa Monica Boulevard. Fucking tax them for that. See how long they hold on to that. Jesus.
Yeah.
This shit will fall the fuck down if their members are paying their taxes. Good God. And so I think I'm cool with it. Yeah, fucking tax them. Because we protect them anyway. Fucking, the cops in this last encounter I had, told me that they were protecting the rights of the Catholic Church, right? And although they didn't talk to me initially, they talked to somebody else, which I thought was cool. That's only because I was behaving at my utmost. And so that's kind of another thing that I'm saying is like, cool, the cop disagrees with you. When you say, you gotta tone it down a little bit, it's like, no. This is the level I sought. Like, the level right before you get arrested. Because I don't want to get arrested. I don't want the level right after I get arrested. I don't want to cheat. Right? I want to raise my voice as loudly as possible. Not like cheat and then win. That's not it. I want to mirror these assholes who are at their fucking top voice. Ugh.
And amplification.
Right. Yeah, so, you know, these fucking guys. Ugh, anyway, guys. Yeah, fuck the Mormon Church. I can't believe they haven't excommunicated me yet. They're prophets or not prophets. I am a Mormon and I am trying to save the Mormons from their false leadership. I think I can do it on the inside unless they kick me out. So while I'm still in, I'll keep working. The beard kind of gives me away a little bit, but you know, it's fine. We'll figure it out. Unless they X me.
When you walked away, it was the saddest day that the world has known. Shattered my heart and left me with pieces of a broken home. Now you say you need me, standing at the door, asking if you can come in, and I can't say no. No, I can't say no. You and I just can't say goodbye. Every time we do, well, it's just another
Hello again, Pastafarians, me, Schizophrenic Mitch. This is our live stream, which we've been doing for this is our 5th week in a row. We're rather proud of that. I mean, I keep trying to tell it to these people in the meetings that, like, you know, I'm putting the work in, maybe the threats against the kneecaps aren't necessary anymore, right? The daily threats of physical violence. I think the point is made. But we're having a great time, and we're enjoying the weekends as well, although the budget for weekends is crushed. I'll try to, you know, move things around, and I'll get what I can, but, you know, I'm promising nothing. Hopefully I'm promising nothing for 2 or 3 weeks. I might, you know, let you down on that promise, but, you know, I'm almost confident. But yesterday and the last Monday before that, we viewed more minutes than there were minutes, so that's fun.
In a 24-hour period.
In a 24-hour period, on Monday, the April 29th, we were watched for 1 day and 41 minutes. 1,481 minutes. That's fun. And yesterday, it's telling me that on May 6th, we were watched for 2,000. Usually I just read 2 as 12. I'll tell you about that later. 2,370 minutes. That's 1 day and 15 hours. Wow, how fun is that? That's fun, right? Like, we used to get that at Christmas when people were watching our Skippo video. We used to have a Skippo video on here back when we were the Dork Shop. Well, one of our very first recordings was us playing Skippo, a very stupid fucking game that I hate. And so we were getting views about this very stupid fucking game that I hate, and I was like, you know what? The views really should be about Pastafarianism. So I got rid of that. You will notice, though, that I have one on there that is Wizard from the old school that's still getting some views. Because Wizard's actually a good game. I like that game. So, but fucking Skippo. It's the worst. It's mind-numbing. It's a stupid fucking game. So I didn't want that fucking blood money anymore. Get out of here, Skippo. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be known for that at all. So yeah, we're working very hard. We're doing the work. And I think the algorithm is watching us, and I think it's rewarding us for that. I think we're feeding the monster correctly. Meeting the publishing deadline makes the monster happy, right? It's a machine. It's in hunger. Feed that hunger, and you are valued. Oh, let's make a huge digression onto Vince McMahon. Let's talk about this for like an hour. I don't know if you guys know Vince McMahon. Now, I like wrestling a lot. Well, the president follows 45 people on Twitter, right? Because he's the 45th president, and that makes him feel good. So there's 45 people that he follows, and a lot of them are his kids, and a lot more of them are his fucking properties. But one of the real humans that he follows is Vince McMahon, the person who owns the WWE. Now, I don't know if you heard the story about how the WWF turned into the WWE, but it's a really fucking stupid story. Have you heard it? Alright, once upon a time there was this idiot named Vince McMahon, and he was like a warlord that united all the lower warlords, right? Like an emperor, as it were. Like Henry the fucking Eighth. And there were all these sort of local tribes of wrestling federations. And he brought them all together in a thing that he called the World Wrestling Federation, WWF. And it was national instead of local, because they were in these areas of like the Ohio Valley and Upper Mississippi. It was a very small local thing. And then Vince McMahon took that thing and he put it on a national scale, and good for him. I'm glad he did. I'm glad he introduced me to all the people that he didn't introduce me to. So he's an arsehole. And he should change a lot about what he does. But I'm glad that he worked so hard. So what do we do about this? We'll talk about that later. So Vince McMahon is like becoming famous, and he's got this WrestleMania thing that's a pretty big deal. And then he's like, you know, there's these other motherfuckers that call themselves the WWF, and I really wish that they wouldn't do that, because I don't like being fucking confused for them. So he goes to the World Wildlife Federation and says, you guys really need to pick another fucking acronym, motherfuckers. And they're like, well, we didn't want to talk about this, but we've been studying into this, and you really need to stop, because we're 100 years older than you are. And he's like, oh shit, that's right. And then he had to change his shit to WWE. And all his branding got fucking thrown out. And he's a fucking idiot, because he didn't have to go fuck with them, right?
Yeah.
He didn't have to be a dick about it. And now I have to change the acronym in my head from WWF to WWE because of fucking his stupid, pompous ass mistake. Thanks a lot, Vince. WWF, dick, you ruined it. So who ruined the WWF? Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon.
Absolutely he did.
Creator.
Exactly. How often we see this? How often? And so, Vince McMahon is a genius because you try to be one of the 45 entities that the President of the United States follows. Vince McMahon has done it. And the reason that he's done it is because he knows what the fuck kayfabe is. And you gotta know what kayfabe is. It's a thing. It's real. It's everywhere. It's all around you. You're doing it. Oh my gosh, you have a whole character that you put out there that you pretend is real, and he follows rules. And you're making those rules up. And so you really have to understand the framework that those rules are in order to do it well. And a lot of people don't get it about the WWF. So I'll explain it. And I got help understanding this, obviously, from someone who is in it, whose name I have forgotten. And I'm a total arsehole for doing it. I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to go put a song on and fucking pause the conversation here so that I don't do this man the disservice of not remembering his name.
Nice.
Not that one, though. My apologies, everyone.
What is the strange elation taking my train of thought to an unknown destination? And suddenly, I don't know where I am, but like a tremor or a spark, something's happening in my heart. I've been arrested by you, take me in. Oh, finally captured by you, take me in. I've been arrested by you, take me in. Oh, finally captured by you, take me in. You've broken my concentration, saving me just in time from a desperate situation. And suddenly, I don't know who I am. My dilemma's where to start. Something's happening in my heart. I've been arrested by you, take me in. Finally captured by you, take me in. I've been arrested by you, take me in. Finally captured by you, take me in. arrested by you. Take me in. Finally captured by you, by you, by you. Take me in. I've been arrested by you. Take me in. Finally captured by you, by you, by you. Take me in. I've been arrested by you. Take me in. Finally captured by you, by you, by you. Take me in. I've been arrested by you. Take me in.
Alright, so we're talking about Al Snow, the WWE legend, current TNA Impact star, former WWE head development trainer, former WWE Tough Enough head trainer. And I am not the best of wrestling fans in that I like a brief period of it where I was watching it and then I was away from it for a very long time. I'm the same with Magic. I was very into it for a brief period and I've just been away from it for so long that I know I'm just totally out of the loop. Though Magic Online is quite fun. It's nice not having to explain the rules to your opponent. That makes Magic way more bearable. So I don't know Al Snow. There's big holes in my understanding of a lot of things that I love. Music, there's lots of big black holes in it. And I don't know Al Snow. I think he's a little bit after my time, and then wasn't really big enough to be memorable. Although I think he's great. I think he's very good at it. I think he just really couldn't find a gimmick that he could speak through, which I think you sort of have to have. I think that the greatest gimmick ever is Ultimate Warrior. I think that the point is that guy's insane. Is the greatest gimmick. Like, you can just do so much cool shit with it. He just, who knows what this motherfucker would say? Because what's Hulk Hogan's gimmick? What? Clean cut, weird clean cut biker who gets his power from the audience. That's, what is his gimmick? Andre the Giant, that's cool, you're really big, right? What's Macho Man's gimmick is that he's sort of jealous of any attention that you give to Miss Elizabeth. Is that really his gimmick? Is that he's just kind of that dick, just a little bit kind of a too buff dick, a mean older brother? That's his gimmick. But this guy's insane. This guy's a fucking animal. That's a great gimmick. So Al Snow's gimmick that he really sort of resonated with was he started walking around with a mannequin's head and just sort of addressing it as if it was a person. And so that sort of chaotic, where's that coming from, he was able to communicate through it. And so anyway, he's a genius. And he lays bare a couple things that you have to understand about the relationship before you go in and work on it. And the WWE has gotten in trouble recently for their practices because they abuse their workers. And while that's correct, no, because it's set up this whole other way. And because so when you look at it from Vince McMahon's point of view, he thinks he's not. And so when you you have to get through it before you can. You have to see it from his point of view before you really can criticize it. And so the way it works is this: he's selling tickets. He's got seats he's got to fill. Okay, and he does that with a poster, and the poster has 3 matches on it that anyone gives a shit about, and that's got to sell the tickets. And then there's other shit down there that nobody ever reads. And if you're down there, you're not helping sell the tickets. And so do something that sells tickets. And you can do whatever you want. Because this is just selling tickets. So just tell a story out there. And it can be crazy. It can be not real. It can be whatever. If you're selling the tickets and people fucking want to see it, you sold a ticket. And so there's a lot of people that are like, Vince McMahon won't let me do what I want. And that's not correct. Vince McMahon doesn't get to decide what you do. He doesn't tell you at all. If you do something and that feeds the beast, Vince McMahon cannot stop you. So the reason that we don't have an atheist out there making fun of them is because there's been no actor that's decided to explore that. An atheist wrestler that just makes fun of people for being Christian. It's because no actor, it's not because Vince McMahon says to all of them that are doing that, no, you can't do that, that's against what I want. It's that no actors tapped into that. And, you know, of course, that would be a bad wrestler. Atheist, that's really a thing, that's stupid. You know, I agree. But the reason that we haven't seen it isn't because Vince says no. It's because no actor has attempted it. And so when actors are saying, when the wrestlers are like, he won't let me do what I want, you just do what you want. You say whatever you want when that mic's in front of you. That's kayfabe. Kayfabe allows anything. The kayfabe doesn't restrict you. You just shit. You just shit it out. It's just improvisational. You just say crazy shit. Yeah, go back and watch them in those interviews. It's just amazing fucking shit. Fucking Macho Man comes walking in with a fucking tiny little thing of half and half so that he can flex his muscle. He has something in his hand because he's flexing his muscles in front of you, right? But he doesn't want you to know that. And so then he just talks shit about this thing he has for no fucking reason, while his huge fucking muscles are on that camera. And that's what he's doing. He's lying to your face. He's just saying whatever shit gets him on there. And you're just like, fucking, I want to go see that. And so, as far as like, what can I do as a Pastafarian to further the work of the Pastafarians? Sell tickets. That's all. It's the only thing we can do to make money, sell tickets. It's the only game around, right? It's wrestling. Right? It's all that fucking Donald Trump is ever doing is selling tickets to his rally. That's all he's ever doing in his life. He is full kayfabe. You can hate him because of that, and then further. But you can't hate him before you realize that. Right? If you hate him for something before you realize that, you don't understand him. He's just fucking talking shit. Because one of his heroes is Vince McMahon, and that guy walks around in his own fucking, as the owner. He's a character as the owner inside his own kayfabe. That dude's got balls. That dude's a murderer. He killed Owen Hart. And he doesn't care. Right? Owen Hart and Owen and the Hart Foundation, right? It's a big deal. They wore pink. He was a great guy. You know, the Hart family is a huge wrestling family, and Vince McMahon just abuses them, doesn't care, right? Fucking all of our wrestling heroes are dying of these very, very difficult lives they lived to entertain us. And Vince McMahon said, "Whoa! It's your fault, kid! You knew it was rough!" No, we didn't know it was that rough, Vince. Jesus, Vince. I don't know why you blame us for this. But anyway, kayfabe is real. And you're doing it your whole life. That thing you present to everyone you work with, that shit's just kayfabe. It can follow any fucking rules. The rules that it's following are yours. You made them up. They're in your head. You can change them. Your character, your kayfabe character, can change on a dime. You can be totally somebody different tomorrow. It's totally made up. And then later you can be like, yeah, that was a weird year. Glad I came back to my senses. What's his name? One of the greatest wrestlers, Mankind. He just walked out as a different person once. He just walked out as a totally different person. And they were like, it's Mick Foley. And it's like, no, it's this other guy. Enlightened Mickey or something. Oh, okay. That's life. You're doing that. Pretending you're not's bullshit. It's all kayfabe. Fucking... There's freedom in kayfabe. It's free. It frees you. You're not restricted. Live your life. Go do it. It's a fucking... We're making it up.
Yeah.
It's a mask we're making. Hi, my name's Mitchell. I'm a normal person. No, I made that up. I'm not normal at all. I can't even discern what normal is sometimes. And everyone who's selling their brand is doing that exact thing, and most of the fucking communities that I have financial relationships are selling their brand more than they're selling any other thing. Even the movies I watch sell themselves as much as they are themselves. That's gross. That's disgusting. Well, not the movies I watch. I like a lot of these low-budget movies. Paddleton was really good. I can't stop thinking about it. Yeah. I wonder if they spent as much as promoting that movie as they did on the budget. I hope they didn't. Doesn't need it. Just fucking stands on its own. You don't have to promote this. Unless you want to break a block with it, which is not what movies are intended to do, are they? They're intended to make you feel emotions, aren't they? They're not intended to break blocks. I don't know why people keep using tools for things they're not intended to do. Redonk says that he sells seashells by the seashore. Well, I do say. I really did wish that you picked pickled peppers. I could use a peck. I've noticed that it's 2:06, which is, about time to wrap it up. So I'll think about all the things that we've talked about today. We didn't even get to watch any more of the Catholic asshole be a total liar. We didn't get to the good part at the end. Should we watch it? Let's watch the good part at the end. Let's just do it. Because there's sort of phases to what I done while I was out there. And the kindness sort of was removed and removed and removed, right? There was more kindness, there was a little bit, then there was more, and there was less and less and less and less. And hopefully people agree with that, because I'm getting criticisms, and I expect criticisms because I get them all the time. And so I'm not surprised by them. But I definitely do think that the people who are giving the criticisms haven't heard how I react to the criticisms. Like they're not caught up in the conversation of like, no, there's nothing to gain. There's nothing to gain by being chill. If you think that chilling out will gain our team something, you're incorrect. If you think that me being loud loses something from our team, you're also incorrect. If you think I should not do this, you're wrong. If you think that you don't want to do this, you're right. Like the line of what we're talking about, I know where that line is. I know exactly where it is. That you don't see any fruits of what I'm doing. And I'm saying there's no fruits in this game. We play this game for fun. Right. So, let's watch a little bit. Let's watch the end of this, because I really would like to be beyond this. Thank you again, Redonk, for coming back and joining us. I caught up to the stream yesterday. I did my homework yesterday. I double-speeded watched 3 episodes. And that was kind of fun. I do say a lot of shit. It's kind of funny. But I appreciate you taking time out of your real and actual day. It's fun. Talk to the man, and I wonder if I should... So let's talk about Teresa here. This is after she's sort of accosted my cameraman, and she tells me that she decided that her wedding or her marriage is something worth working on, and I said, well, then you saved it. And she says, oh, you're going to make me cry. And so I do hope at that moment that she remembered that my test that I proposed at the beginning that she agreed to was, listen to my words and how they make you feel. And then listen to God of the Old Testament and how he makes you feel. And so I hope she remembers that she felt like crying when she heard my words. Because I remember. I don't think she does. Rodonk says, lungs, I don't know why I typed lunch, lol. I see. I am ready for lunch almost. I do go to lunch after this. I eat before my children arrive at home. So the story of this day that I hope sort of shows itself is that I approached them and I said, okay, let's keep talking, because I was here last week and I had to go, and now I'm back, so let's talk. And nobody wanted to talk to me except for people that shouldn't have been talking to me. And this guy didn't want to talk to me, though he said he did. And he said, I'll talk to you after, and I waited until after. And then when I waited until after, he was like, oh, I can't talk to you because I've got to talk to this person. Oh, I really must talk to this person. And so he only could talk to me for moments at a time. And then was like, you know what, I do have to go. And so then I told him that he is evil. Now, I moved into the rebuke stage. Because he deserves it. Fuck this guy. Because he made fun of, first of all, he lied to me, and then he made fun of the way I dressed, as if he's dressed like a respectable human, as if he's not dressed like a disgusting piece of shit.
Dude, I'm thirsty as fuck.
Yeah, me too.
Do you reckon we can... No, I don't care. I'm thirsty as fuck. That's so fucking funny.
I should have got us
Why are you recording me? I don't understand what you're
Because
recording.
you're in public, and I am a public preacher. I preach on the street on Fridays.
I don't know. It seems like you have a bad intention recording me.
Look at me.
What bad intention? What bad intention? Propose a bad intention that I can use a recording of a public person for. Propose a bad intention that he could be thinking of. I can't think of one. And so, to say that I'm guilty of that is a really shit move. Because I can't think of a good intention of bringing the Bible out in public. I can think of only bad intentions for that. So, to pretend that I am doing something to him is bullshit. Fuck, this is never gonna end. Jesus. Alright, let's see if we can get through it. Is there really 17 minutes left of this? Fuck!
Look at me. I don't have bad intentions.
Well, looking at you, I see a very bad intention.
Cool. Do you understand that you are also dressed in a very offensive style of dress? Do you not understand that you are dressed like a pedophile? Okay? And I am not laughing at you, and I am not calling you names.
It's like...
So why don't you treat
like
this like
saying,
the conversation it is?
It's like...
You came out here in
like
public,
saying,
and you pretend that you're not going to be opposed.
It's like saying that all the Germans are like Hitler. Is it fair?
It kind of is. If you're saying if they wore a band on their arm. I'm saying not all Germans, just the one who wore the band.
This is irrational.
That is rational though, right? My comparison is correct? If they wore bands with the Nazi symbol on them, then I can call them Nazis? Because you're wearing this.
Yeah, but it is not.
It means a lot of things that you don't get to decide what it means.
Logic.
And here is the problem that the Catholic Church cannot confess, is that they don't control the meaning of the symbol. Symbols mean things to different people. The language is not written down. There is no language that we were taught from God. There's no language in God's head. Language is an invention that we made. And so, that collar means to different people different things. And that collar walked into a dark room where there was a scared kid. And it did disgusting shit. And he wears it. And he doesn't get to decide what it means for that kid. He doesn't get to decide what was done in the name of that collar. In the name of his Bible. He doesn't get to decide who is and is not Christian. Because all you gotta do is believe one myth out of the Bible and you're a Christian. And I can clean it up. I can help you stop being a Christian. Oh man, I'm gonna skip more. This guy is very, very offensive because he says, well, looking at you, I can see his bad intention. It's like, look what you're wearing, you piece of shit. So, he keeps trying to walk away. And at this time, I do believe that my cameraman is again being abused by his mindless henchman.
one.
God loves you.
The true
God
creator of this world loves
God
me
will never stop
because
loving
I
you.
speak truth.
God loves
But God hates that
God loves
book.
you. God loves you.
This planet is 13
God
billion
loves you.
years old.
And God loves you.
Language
And
is
God loves
thousands of years
God
older.
loves you, and let me embrace you. Because God loves you. God loves you. He
Not
just
that
loves
God.
you. He cannot stop loving you. Let me embrace you.
How do you
Because
measure
God
God's love?
loves you immensely.
Not that
He
one.
loves you. He enjoys you. He loves you.
Not
He
the God of
created
this
you.
Bible.
Another embrace.
He said that he will break up my family. The
loves
God
you so
of that
much. Give me
Bible
yours. Let us
says
shake the hand.
we are not friends, we are enemies.
Okay.
We are
I'm
opponents.
not your enemy.
Yes, you are.
I'm
Because
not your
you
enemy.
spread the lies of this
Okay,
book,
now I
you
need
are
to go.
my enemy.
I need to take a nap.
You need to stop spreading violence. You need to stop radicalizing the youth of this city. Your bile is no longer welcome here. Keep it in your disgusting private
I can
churches.
shout louder than you.
No, you cannot.
God
Because you're a
loves
tiny little
you.
man with
God
not enough
loves
truth.
you.
Not the
And he
God of
loves
this
you.
Bible, he does not. Because I am Antichrist. Your God does not love me. Because your God's love is conditional. Because he does not love the gays. And he does not love people who get divorced. And he does not love witches. Because he said, burn the witches. Neither does he love prostitutes. And my wife is a prostitute. And your God loves no one. Your God loves only obedience.
Bravo.
No, we are not friends. You are my opponent in this game, and you are bad at this game.
You know Jesus Christ.
I don't know why my video is skipping. I'm watching the one that is on my hard drive. Sorry for not showing that to you. That's embarrassing. Rodong says, should I be able to see the video right now? Because I can't. Yeah, I think you should have. I think yes is the answer to that. Seen it enough times I can watch it. So many hugs. Lol, it's all good. Just thought I'd mention it. I do appreciate that. It is through community that we stop being so fucking bad at this, though, right? I do appreciate those kind words you say about it. Me too. I've watched this myself a number of times as a thing that I've produced, and so I mentioned that to him too. He's like, "You didn't listen to me," and I was like, "Son, I listened to you I listened to you too many times. I've listened to every word you've said. Like, I do wish that you would listen to me. Like, I do wish that next time I see him, he's like, okay, you said this and this and this, and you made good points, but here's why you're wrong. Fucking fat chance of that, though. Fat chance of this guy ever doing his homework. And he does it for a living, right? Mm-hmm. He gets like a parsonage in the middle of town. Yeah, good luck holding on to that when you have to pay taxes on it. Jesus, you think what he does fucking brings in money? Jesus. Thank you, Redonk, for reminding me how bad I am at this. I do like to remember. I hope that we now get less skips.
This is a game about truth, and you have no truth. You have only mythology.
Okay, now I need to go.
Good.
Because it's not a dialogue.
Slink back
you always
to your truth.
So he says he has to go because it's not a dialogue. I don't know, I might have fucked up the microphone there a couple times. He says I have to go because it's not a dialogue. And here's what's really infuriating. Is he's pretending that thing that he said is, I have to go because it's not a dialogue. If it was a dialogue, I wouldn't have to go, right? It takes the form of logic. But he doesn't fucking logic. I'm coming up with logic, here's logic. He's not fucking... When I logic on the ground, he doesn't fucking have to fucking clean it up. When I do algebra, he doesn't solve it. You know? And he's like, oh, well, I'm not playing with you because you're not doing algebra. I'm like, you don't do algebra. Are you fucking kidding me? I brought you over here and I said, let's have a conversation. Why are you doing this? And you just started to shit out of your mouth about how, like, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, cool, if it's evil, will you stop? And then you couldn't answer. There was no forthcoming answer from your side. The dialogue ended after my second question, and then you're pretending that I killed the dialogue. That's the whole point. Don't give them anything. Because if you give them anything, they're like, oh, why did you stop giving me anything? It's like, because I don't owe you anything, because you're a liar. In the streets, radicalizing these people into the violence that we're seeing all over this world. Obviously. How do you not know that that's what your opponents are saying to you? Because he's never been opposed. This motherfucker's never been opposed. He doesn't even know what we're saying. He doesn't even know what we're saying. He has never heard it. And now that he has it, I've put it up. He can do his homework. He can catch up. Oh no, but he never will. Never will, because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be good at this game. He doesn't want to help those people. What he wants is his book to be right so he gets to see his dead daddy again. I'm sorry you don't. I really am sorry. I want to see some dead people. I want you to see your dad. I want to watch it. It'll make me feel so good. Seeing you hug your dad again. It doesn't get to happen. And don't blame me for that. Okay? Don't blame the satirist for poking your wound. Blame the person who gave you the wound. McDonald's has been working for 40 years to tell you all you need to be happy is what they can give you. They are prophetizing on your depression. Not Burger King. McDonald's. Right there. For 40 years. Make them stop. Stop calling it a Happy Meal. Stop, call it a McKids meal. There's no happiness in there.
Yeah.
You're lying. And you're using my depression against me. McDonald's. Not Burger King. Don't get mad at Burger King for satirizing it. Don't get mad at me because there's Catholics in our streets. Don't tell me I'm doing it wrong. There's no right in this game. I didn't make up this game, I'm just playing it. Because these people are unopposed in our goddamn streets. And fucking, we don't get the hero we want. We get the hero we deserve. And that's me. This is my calling. And I'll do it for you. I'll be the crazy motherfucker in the street. I'm a crazy motherfucker. I'm cool with it. I'm having fun. I'll definitely do it for you. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you being a Pastafarian. I appreciate you coming and seeing me. I definitely appreciate it when you fucking cult yourself. That's crazy. When you fucking tell your friends to like and subscribe to my shit because we're a real cult and we have things worth saying and I can't say it myself, but my priest can. And you can find him right here. And I bet you if you listen to him for 4 hours, bet you'll confess you want to be a Pastafarian. Because it's true. This is what true religion would look like. It's an easy exercise to run. It's just expensive, and no one would do it because there's better things to do with your life. But I'm busy taking care of a family. I really am enjoying this. I'm having a really good time. But, you know, I've got time. I've got extra time. I can fucking tell these fucking Catholic priests to get the fuck off the streets. If you're afraid to debate me on YouTube. You don't get the streets if you're afraid of YouTube. Jesus. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thanks, guys. Thanks very much. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm very excited to be in week 5 of this. I think we're going to get to week 8. This is going to be the longest project that, you know, I've done for Pastafarianism. I'm very excited about this. I suppose my relationship with my studio, Safe Word Studios, is hard to understand. Love-hate relationship. I hope it does work, though. I hope they're able to get the brand over that 1,000 subscribers thing. We've got to do some sort of, like, tweet thing? I don't know. Do follow us on Twitter or whatever. I'm on Facebook, too. I sort of talk shit on Facebook all day. Thanks very much. You guys are hilarious. I hope that you're having as much fun as I am. This really occupies a lot of my fucking free time. It's insane. It's embarrassing to admit. Thank you so much. We love you so much. See you very soon, Pastafarians.
Brothers and sisters, have you heard the news? The storm has lifted and there's nothing to lose. So swap your confirmation for your dancing shoes, because there never was no God. Step out of the darkness and onto the streets. Forget about the fast, let's have a carnival feast. Raise up your lowered head and hear the liberation beat, because there never was no God. And there is no God. So clap your hands together. There is no God. No until we die, until we restitute the meek. Not blaming all our failings on imaginary beasts, because there never was no God. The fighting of a land your distant fathers told you of. No spilling blood for those who never spread a drop of love. The finger pointing justified by phantoms up above, because there never was no God. There is no God. So clap your hands together. There is no God. No heaven and no hell. There is no God. We're all in this together. There is no God. So ring that victory bell. I know you're scared to die, man, and I am too. But just pretending it's not happening isn't gonna see us through. If we accept that there's